All the help that we got there was just fantastic, and it was a very exciting week. This is one of the modifications that we did. This was an old TV antenna that had collapsed behind the motel that we stayed in. So we asked the owner of the motel if we could have it, and he said yes, he'd be happy for us to take it. So we cut it all apart and made ourselves an exhaust system out of it, which probably didn't help. Maybe nothing. If it did help, it was very minimal. The thing that I think helped most was just changing the timing and finding the best tune that we could possibly get on the engine for the altitude and so forth. We rejetted it a number of times, but by Wednesday I think we had the jetting down pretty close. You can see the tire that's on the back was one that was loaned to us by the Firestone tent. A little bit smaller diameter tire, thinking a little bit lower gear ratio would help, but that didn't help either. One of the things that we didn't take into consideration at the Bonneville salt flats was the 4,000 feet altitude. So we thought that these tubes down the side would help push some air into the carburetors at a high speed, and maybe it helped a little, but if it did, it was almost insignificant. We really got most of the additional speed, which was 2.4 miles per hour, because our final speed was 94.40, and we did that from like Wednesday on. We did it every trip down and back. We were almost exactly at that speed. We were beat out by a Morris Minor that finally, in one trip down the salts and back, did 94.42. So we were beat by 0.02 of a mile an hour, and he did it one time, and we did consistently all Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. We did 94.4. The next car for fourth place under us was a Renault at about 89 miles an hour. The car that won that year was a factory Saab that did 101. We weren't really the smartest salt flat racers, because we took first and second gear out of the transmission, thinking that without that friction it might have given us a little bit more top speed. But I didn't realize that we had a given distance to accelerate, so we probably actually would have been better off having all the gears in the transmission, so that we didn't have to push the bug up to probably about 30-40 miles an hour. We pushed it just as fast as we could until the bug took off and left the Corvair. Probably wasn't the smartest thing to do. However, it was a really great week, and I've got pictures of many of the cars that were there, and this particular car was a very interesting machine, a jet-powered car. I'm not absolutely sure, but I think that was the first year they ran that at the Bonneville Salt Flats. It was a long week for all of us, but one that we will never forget. Well, the Bonneville trip was one of the most memorable things that we've probably done in our lifetime, and I think we did quite well for the first time down there. Took third place in our class, and as far as I know, no one has ever bettered our time of 94.40 in a 36 horse normally aspirated VW, so we're pretty proud of that. I know the next year, 1963, someone beat that speed with a supercharged or a blown engine. So that would be in a totally different category as far as I'm concerned, especially with Bonneville at 4,000 feet. Well, nevertheless, whatever the accomplishments were, it was a very great experience, and we are all very proud that we were there.